Obviously, you've been around this game for a while. How has recruiting evolved, especially now with you being a head coach for a few years, and what's been the biggest differences that you see?
Well, I'll just compare it to when I played. We didn't travel as much as the kids do now, all across the country. We didn't have the rules where you couldn't play in a state because nobody was doing that you didn't border. So they've had to make those rules to keep people from recruiting a kid in California to play for a Georgia team. And as far as the involvement of people that aren't their coaches or their parents is quite different. You have coaches speaking for kids and parents, and I'm like, that's not your child. So those kind of things are quite different. There's still some parents that will help their child and take ownership of that recruiting for their kid, but a lot of handlers, a lot of people that are in the picture that you have to deal with, and that's probably more prevalent on the men's side, a lot more of the handlers and people that want to have a say in where the kid goes to school, but that's probably the biggest difference.
How different has it changed, or has it changed in terms of how early coaches are identified?
Yeah, that's changed too because, and obviously the rules are in place because people were doing too much, so they had to scale it back. When you're working on two classes now, because you're starting your 17s at the same time you're finishing your 16s. So September is ridiculous because you're doing home visits almost every day. You start on the 9th, end on the 29th, but really the 8th because you got to get to where you're going, and the 30th because you got to get home. So and those weekends are filled with either official visits, and then you have the eval weekend at the end of the month. So it's nuts. It's crazy.
Talk about the 16th and 17th, but at the same time you got to keep your eyes on the 18th and 19th, don't you?
Exactly. You're always working ahead. You're always trying to identify the young ones and just make some initial contact with their coaches to get them to call you. So the coaches are still involved, but some of the AAU coaches want to be more involved than the high school coaches. And one time it was the high school coaches because they have the kids 6 months out of the year, where the AAU coach might have them a month in July, So it's really tough.
With technology too now, that's altered the game. How much do you rely on technology?
We rely on it a lot. I don't like Twitter and all that kind of stuff because I wasn't raised with that stuff, so I could leave it, but I know the kids are on it. And they give all the information you can want. They tell you everything without knowing they're telling you. So if you follow them, they'll tell you their favorite whatever, or they're going to put it out there, and then you'll have that information. So it's nice if you're paying attention.
With how many kids are even out there these days, and how many AU tournaments and all this stuff, how do you even begin to build a list for kids that you want to potentially recruit or keep an eye on?
Well, it's some of that's about who you're losing. So you're trying to bring, or what kind of kid. And we've established some relationship with some programs that we really like, the kids that come through those programs. So you keep an eye on those. You have friends that'll call you. As you get new coaches, I have 2 new assistants, so they knew other people that I didn't know. So it's coming from everywhere. Internet, everywhere.
Talk about the internet. I mean, so many kids have videos online now.
Sure,
and profiles and all that sort of stuff. I mean, how much can you trust that, and how much do you rely on that to a certain extent, or begin to use that to maybe start your research?
Well, you trust but verify. If you see that the kid is really good on the highlight tape, because that's a highlight, you're not putting low lights on your highlight, then you might ask for a full game so you can see exactly what their reaction, their instincts, their ability to read defense. So you really always evaluating them. That's why you go see them several times. You see them with their AAU team versus their high school team. Because AAUs, that's put together. High school is just whoever showed up or live in the district. So you don't get that's why I admire the high school coaches that can do something with kids they cannot pick, just who shows up. Now, some of those people are recruiting too. But for the most part, they're coaching who is at the school.
Last question, if you have a piece of advice for a family or a student athlete who's starting this process and trying to figure out what the heck to do since there's so many things involved, what advice would you have for a kid trying to make not just a great decision of where to play ball, but obviously get the education and find the right fit?
Well, they have to know what they want, what kind of campus you want, where in the country, who is interested in you, who needs your position. Because there's plenty of people sitting on people's benches that they could be playing somewhere else, but maybe they just want to be on the team. I have no idea. But it's important to do some homework before you contact people. Play AAU, get with the right team there, and just see who is recruiting you or evaluating you. Maybe got a letter or a questionnaire. Then start, formulating your list of who you're interested in and see if they're interested, and then it'll cultivate from there.